but effective.
Welcome to another edition of Boring but Effective. We have the fabulous Paul Winbanks joining us today. He's a champion of equality and inclusion, and he is also better known as Paul the Spirit Messenger. Paul, welcome.
Thank you, David. Thanks for having me on the show. I love your shows.
Thank you, thank you. No, it's great to have you on, and it's a pretty obvious first question, to be honest. How do you use your gift of being able to connect with the spirit world?
Look, to be really honest, there's two sections, two types of connections I make. One's psychic, which is just connecting to a person's being, and the other part is to people who've passed. And I grew up from the age of 4 doing this, telling beautiful, lots of evidence. It's evidence, evidence, evidence for us, of people who've passed, thinking everybody else could do it. I knew no differently, and part of it's just tuning into it. So most of us, I always use the example, well, we've all got psychic abilities. You walk down a creepy street and you feel something behind you. And it could be a person, or it might be just a really strange feeling. But a lot of people let go of that as children and teenagers. And I can honestly say the funniest part, that's where a lot of the imaginary friends come from. So I always ask people, did you have an imaginary friend? I'm finding about this and that. Yes. And then I found out later that that friend was a young girl that I used to go to school with, that was coming through. So for me, it's very practical. I don't do the woo-woo. I use a lot of my teaching background, a lot of the organizational change management, the IT training. I use analogies. I get these messages that have to be based on evidence. And the other part too is I've done over 3 years of ethics and standards with 3 international mediums, so that people don't leave scared. I think the hardest part is when you've got to deliver some really difficult messages or beautiful messages. They're my fun ones. I like the fun ones, but sometimes when messages come through, you've got to find a beautiful way to deliver it. As I openly say, I'm neurodiverse, so I usually jump straight to the answer at the end of the story. So I've spent 3 years working that you have to get people prepared for some hard messages. And the other part too is when you're trying to connect with someone that has passed, you've got to be prepared for it. So we do a lot of things that we only bring in my case, I only bring in good spirits. I'm always honest. I had someone who after 10 minutes, I'm like, there's no one here. Here's your money back. And that way everyone knows that if I can't make a connection, maybe it's the wrong time, maybe I'm the wrong medium and psychic, that I just don't do it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. And it's not just people either. You put people in contact with their pets as well, don't you?
Pets, spot on, spot on. I did actually have one yesterday, which was a lady that has had a lovely pet that has passed after 10 years. And as someone who's never been very good with earthly pets, I'm always kind. And people go, oh my God, Paul, you don't like pets. I said, not that I don't like them. I always used to say, do you want my 7-year-old and you can have a look after him? Oh, I don't want your kids. I said, yeah, that's me and pets. I love when people look after pets, and pets bring so much joy. And the other part too is just because who I am, I quite often say to people, why do you like your pet? And I don't mean it disrespectfully. And they go, again and again and again and again, it's unconditional love, Paul. I went, oh, okay, I get it. So I brought through horses, I brought through chickens, I brought through dogs and cats, and a rabbit. So again, it's all about the evidence. I talk about a funny behavior that they have, that the particular cat used to be able to jump up, and I can see it sort of unlatching the door, and they open the door and then they usually have a funny scream that sounds like hello. And they go, oh my God, that's my cat. And I say, huh? Is it? And they go, yeah, even I struggle. I really struggle because I'm thinking, I can't believe as someone who's never had a cat as a pet, that I can feel these messages come through. And it's a bit like, you just feel it. It's just most of what I do is feeling, and I sort of try to describe something? And I go, it's sort of like this. And I go, yes. And it's always, someone actually said to me the other day about their pets, you give evidence, and I do that for people as well. You can't possibly know Paul. There is something you can't possibly know. That's my fun part. It's like spiritual treasure hunt for me. And I go through and look and think, what can I find that'll freak them out in a good way? And so you can see, as a naughty medium, I'm very naughty in real life, and everyone knows. But there's also a little bit of tough love. I grew up with a lot of beautiful, strong ethics and standards with some tough love. We have a motto in our family: do the right thing, not the easy thing. So I always tell people when they come for a reading, I'm going to give you information that, especially for pets, that the pet wants to get a message through. And the message that I got recently was there's a little pet there with them, a little dog, and describe, oh my God, that's our favorite family pet. And I go, oh, okay. And then they asked me to describe it. And what did I have during the week? Another one where I said, there's like a pink bow. Oh my God, that's what we used to put
Oh, wow.
on this particular dog. And I'm like, okay, I trust you. So I love that part.
That's amazing. I've got a few mates that wouldn't mind you talking to the living, actually. And you mentioned horses. There's
Yes.
some going to be running around at Flemington. Is there any of them talking to you about what's going to run the fastest? I'm just
Look,
joking.
if I
I'm just joking.
I like that. You know, this is funniest part. People ask that question and the lotto question.
Ah,
And I
yes.
said, listen, if I could give you the numbers, and there's no energy in numbers, that's the best way to describe it. If I could give them, I have a dead wife on the other side, a beautiful, lovely wife. I'd be getting her to give me the Tetslotto numbers, and I'd be running a lot of businesses with a lot of properties.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, can you give us what are two of the best spirit world connections that you've had?
Well, you
Some,
beat
I'm
me
sure
to
you've got
it.
some cool stories, but give us two of the best.
Well, part of the ethics and standards is that a story stays unless I've got permission. So I always say to people, do I have permission to share your story? So you sort of stole my thunder, which is beautiful, is that honestly, the ones that break your heart, but also bring such joy are when children have passed
Mm,
and with pets. So with the children one in particular, as a parent, and I used to be a primary teacher, I will quite often get, which I did sort of in one of my readings, where they'll show me picture storybooks. Now, the average male who's never been a teacher wouldn't know these picture storybooks unless they're a parent. So one I had recently was I'm seeing a Dr. Seuss book, Green Eggs and Ham. Oh my God, that was his favorite book or
right.
her favorite book or whatever. And even it makes my hair stand on end when I sit there and go, I was on an aeroplane, so I can tell you this one. Don't remember the lady's name. And I said, oh, nice to meet you and nice chat. And she was from England. And I told her what I did. And I said, do I have permission? She said, yes. I said, I've got a child here. And she said, yes. And I mentioned the picture storybook. She said, oh my God, Paul, that's the one I read in my class. I said, he just wants to get a message. You made him so happy towards the end. And I said, and there's something you need to buy while you're in Australia. And it was an Indigenous book. So I said, I need you to take that book back and read it in your class in the UK. And he's going to have some fun with you. And I said, I normally tell you because it's the naughty part I love, because I'm so naughty. I like the fact that they'll quite often say to me in the middle of that, I'm like, okay, what's the kid going to do in this teacher's classroom? And I get, oh, it's a surprise. It's a secret. And it's not a cop out. I'll get a phone call saying, oh my God, Paul, you're not going to believe what happened when I read the story. So the children, and as a parent, it must be the worst thing for parents
Mm,
to know that their child has passed, even an adult child, right? So I'm not talking about just younger children. When an adult child passes before their parents, those stories, they break my heart. I deliver the message. And the beautiful part, and this sounds unusual, same with the pets, I get this feeling of the love. It's like, for me, it's chocolate. I always describe my love as chocolate, and I get a lot of these just go caramel and when you feel that and you're telling them something, I'm very careful because for me, you've got to be compassionate and empathetic that you are delivering a message to someone who's missed them for 5 years, 5 minutes, well, not 5 minutes, but 15 years. When you pass that message on, they've had the courage to come and see us. It really, really opens their heart. But I'm very careful. I feel like I'm metaphorically holding their heart in my hand, thinking as a parent that that must be really hard. But the part that I find really funny for me is when people talk about their pets, because I've seen people, I've walked through someone's grandmother, yeah, that's her, great. And then the grandfather, then the favorite uncle. But when I walked through the Chihuahua, oh my, this lady was crying, and I'm thinking, oh my God, you love your dog better than you love your relatives. So there is a joy in that part. But it's usually those stories, I can't ever deliver them without permission because no one wants those stories coming out without being shared. But when I see anything about pets or children, they're the parts that they're beautiful. And it's so lovely to have people who trust us to bring those messages through, because it's only, again, with evidence, evidence, evidence. And if the evidence is not there, I could say, they love you. Yeah, how? What is it? And it'll be the one I had this morning. I was thinking about it was, I said, I'm seeing a young teenager's bed. Yep. And there's a bag of marbles hidden in the far left-hand corner. And in that bag, it's like a netting around it. And he's saying he wants you to go and get those marbles, bring them out and put them as part of a display. So every time you have the marbles, think of him being naughty. He threw marbles at something, and I could see the joy that came up on their face because it's really specific, and they knew exactly the bag of marbles. They knew the bed I was talking about, but it was from 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's lovely. And I get these messages, hi, Paul, I found the marbles. Great. So that's good.
That's amazing. You've certainly got a brilliant gift there, and it must be really heartwarming, even though there's tough messages. But most of the time, I think the fact that you've been able to make that connection for these people, whether it be child, parent, pet, whatever the case may be, it's a really cool thing. I really like what you do.
Thank you.
So now tell us, how do people access your services? How do they go about it?
Really easy. The free service I offer weekly, I've been doing it for a couple of years now, is on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and, oh God, YouTube. I nearly forgot. Just look up Paul the Spirit Messenger. And if you go along there, you can see, I've sort of asked the spirits in the universe, and just think about it. It doesn't matter if you believe in religion or you don't believe in religion. I quite often get, if you're really big into religion, I'll get religious symbols. If you're not, I'll get earthly symbols, or I get family symbols, or whatever. I even got a crest one day. I described the crest of their family. So if you go along there and you find any of my posts, don't worry about the date. It's meant to come to you. So even before you and I have a chat in this session, I said, spirits, help me here and play a song that will let me know you're going to guide me here. So, of course, they play one of my songs. I'm like, and it was with an AI. I've got an AI Spotify, and then it made me laugh. It made me giggle. So it brings the spirits up. So if you go onto any of those and you catch any of my old weekly posts or any of the new ones, it's a message for you from your loved ones.
Magnificent. That sounds great. That's cool. Hey, we'll put that on at the end of the video, all your links and whatever else. That'll be cool. And
thank you.
Anyone out there who's thinking of, you've got an inkling or you need a hand with connection to the other side and the spirit world, Paul's your man.
Thank you.
Hey, now, as you know, where we get up to in this part of the sessions, what's your favourite meal?
Well, my favourite meal would have to be a slow roasted Ottolenghi Middle Eastern lamb that I like to cook. Smelling it the whole time, it's like spirits. They'll give me messages where I can smell things. I will actually bring up in a reading. I can see lamb roast on a Sunday. I can see couscous, whatever. With carrots, you can see how the detail, this is the sort of detail I get. Slow roasted carrots with cumin and honey, and peas with mint sauce, finished with dessert, which is a sticky toffee pudding with beautiful clotted cream on the top. That's my favorite meal.
Wow, that is very specific. I like it. Magnificent. We get a lot of people who love lamb around this place. So
Yeah.
that's a variation though, the Middle Eastern.
Yes. Oh, it's delicious. Nom, 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 nom. Pomegranate molasses. Can taste it now.
Oh, delicious. Now, you're probably a bit different when I ask this question because
Yes.
you've actually got contact with people that have
Yes.
predeceased us. But if you could nominate one person, living or now in the spirit world,
Yep.
to come and have the lamb with you and the magnificent dessert, who would you nominate?
Well, my first thought, and it's not the right person, would be Princess Diana. So for me, she's very empathetic, someone that helps me with queer people. So I do a lot of readings for queer people that struggle in life around the world. I have a lot of my followers, and no judgment with all of her work in that space. And occasionally, and I can't prove it yet, I get a message. She guides me, which is great. But obviously, I'm going to cheat on this question. It has to be my wife.
Yeah.
My last, you knew us. I wouldn't care about anyone else in the world. If I could have another meal with my wife, it would be her.
Yeah, no, that's a fair call. Princess Diana, and as brilliant as she is, yeah, she just gets bumped.
Yes.
I mean, we'll make an exception. Your wife and Princess Di can join you. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's right. That's good. I like that. Okay. I could see that happening actually.
Yeah, that's really cool, and I love it. That is a terrific answer. I love that. That's so cool. So, hey, thanks so much, Paul.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
No, great
And
chatting to you.
just
And
before I go, I'll
yeah,
tell you the funniest thing in your space
yeah,
is that quite often when I do my psychic readings, I will quite often tell people about, you haven't got your superannuation up to date. And they go, oh my God, your will's not in place. And people freak out and they go, how could you possibly know that's what my wife and I were talking about? So I've been dying to tell you that since the start, especially in your space. I love doing psychic readings where I say, hey, I had a partner, someone who came through, came and saw me, and I said, now, what's with the contract? Who's the person that's stealing? It's in one of my posts, $48,000 out of your account. And they went, how do you know? And I mentioned this person's name, and they went and checked it all out. And that's the part I love with my psychic work, is that once I can tap in with permission, and when people come to see me, I can actually give really good, grounded information about their finances, because a lot of what I do in that space is finance. I'm not good at it in real life. I pay someone else, like you, David, to go and do it. I don't pretend I'm an expert, but it is really cute that someone had lost a document, a will. And I said, I'm seeing a cabinet, I'm seeing a mirror. They knew exactly where it was. Dad had hidden it.
wow.
They pulled out the drawer. There was the will. The family stopped fighting. So there you go. There's your superannuation and retirement all covered at the end.
That's amazing. No, thank you so much. And yeah, you have my permission to explain to these people with their permission if they need to actually get that in order, which you're telling them a lot of them need to do. So send them through, and I can't reach into the spirit world like you can, but I can bring them into the here and now and say this is
Good.
what we
And
need
look
to
after
do.
them here.
That's right.
Because that's what their family do. They will say, and that's how I get my messages in my personal life. You need to go and see someone, and then go, oh, okay. And I did. And I am very good financially with taking people's advice who are experts.
Fantastic. Good
Like
on you,
yourself,
Paul.
David.
Once again,
Thank you.
Paul's stuff here, all his contacts, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram,
Instagram, well done. And my
uh,
website.
LinkedIn. You're
Yep.
everywhere. Good stuff.
Yep.
And if you need to get in touch with me, here's my info. So once again, Paul the Spirit Messenger, thank you so much. It's been great to chat
Thanks
with
for
you.
having me, David. Have a good one.
You too, mate. Cheers.
Boring.
But effective.